This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable other excellent people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. Thanks for joining today. I want to talk about mentoring. Now, way back when I was growing up, I don't know that I ever heard of a mentor, the word even. Certainly didn't know about coaches. The only coaches we knew were in the sports field, not anyone coaching you with life issues or work or professional development and personal development. But mentoring is so important. Back in those days when I was growing up, I never asked anyone to be my mentor, nor did anyone volunteer, but there were many, many who served in that capacity. There were men in the local church that I attended as a child and a youth, and because I didn't have a father in my life, they took on that role. They adopted me, as it were, and I don't mean down at the courthouse, but in an informal way. They took me to ball games. They included me with their family. They took me to father and son banquets. I don't have enough language to say, including the other day, one gentleman, very elderly, who had been a Sunday school teacher, taken me to father and son banquets, was always a source of encouragement, just recently passed away. And I began to reflect over his influence in my life. And if we all would do that every once in a while, we wouldn't have the grumbles and the depression, perhaps. We would realize that a lot of people have helped us. We today, wherever you are, you're standing on the shoulders of someone, whether it was your parents, your family, teachers, a colleague, someone has come along, given you a helping hand. And I'm wondering if that isn't something we are obligated to do for others, to look around and to say, as folks invested in my life, I need to do that. That's not only true in our homes and in our churches, but that's true at work or wherever. So let me just kind of give you an acrostic that I discovered that I think is a way of giving a multifaceted definition of what the word mentor is. I realize these are a little hard to do on a podcast because you can't see, but the M for mentoring would be managing the relationship. What that means is we're all in relationships with someone right now who, whether we have formally asked them to be our mentor, they are in that kind of a mentoring mode, and we are in a relationship. It's much easier to learn, to receive feedback. When we know the heart of the person, we know the character of the person, we know that even when maybe they say something that may in the moment hurt our feelings or take us aback a moment, we realize they are really for us and they are trying their best to be helpful and to pass some life lessons along to us. And so let's just make sure that we're managing the relationship. You don't want to take advantage. You don't want to hook onto them and not give them a moment's peace. But we are thankful for relationship. In other words, the simpler way to say it is, it's pretty hard to be mentored or to mentor someone if you're not in a relationship with them. Even if you're in the beginning and don't have a previous relationship, it's going to involve getting to know that person, which would be outside of and beyond even just a professional mentoring relationship. Let's talk about E. We talked about M is managing the relationship. E is encourage. I think I already told you about some folks from my past who came along and sort of were spiritual fathers to me. And even as I wistfully was reflecting on someone who just recently passed who filled that role with me, it's even a step or two beyond encouragement. They added significance, the fact that they would, with their own responsibilities, take time out to nurture, to help, to encourage me. And frankly, I can think of one of them. it wasn't all rainbows, unicorns, and lollipops. There were times when they challenged me, corrected me, watched that I didn't go astray and get involved in things that I shouldn't have. That's also a form of encouragement. But one of the things that we need to look around for as we're looking for people to pour into their lives to help them is everyone you see and everyone you meet needs someone to encourage them. If you think about it and just reflect on it for a moment, think of someone at perhaps a key time in your life who came around, sent you a note, made a phone call, sent you a text, an email, and sowed some encouragement into your life. I just know that in my life, that has had an outsized influence in my life. We don't need any more discouragers. People are already sufficiently discouraged. There's enough negativity and criticism out there. Why don't you just make up your mind that you're going to be an encourager? So M is manage the relationship, and E is encourage in mentor. The N stands for nurture. You can't nurture someone with PowerPoint slides in a presentation, or here's a book to read, we'll meet back and discuss it. Now, that is certainly a part of it. I'm not denying that. But nurture, again, shows the fact that this is someone in relationship with you, which is the very first thing that we discussed when we started talking about mentoring. You're in a relationship. And out of that relationship, you can manage all sorts of things. There'll be areas in which they help us to grow and to stretch. But never underestimate, if you're the one receiving it, the power of encouraging and nurturing. And if you're the one being the mentor, it's not just information people need. They need relationship, and they need to be encouraged, and they need someone to come along and nurture them. Many people are almost starved to death for someone to be a nurturer and an encourager. So M-E-N, we're spelling out the word mentor. The next one is T, and it is teach. Even though I've just said that may not always be the main component of it, it has to be a major component of it. For we are trying to, if I'm the mentee, I'm trying to learn from someone who is farther down the road, someone who has much more life experience than I have, someone who has done and done repeatedly what I am just starting to attempt to do. And so I need to come with a teachable spirit if I'm the mentee. I need to say, could you help me with, you fill in the blank, what is the area in your life where you are needing someone to be that kind of an encourager and a mentor to you. Listen to people who have something to say. There are lots of people who think they have something to say, but I'm talking about the people that have actually done what it is you desire to do or you believe you've been called to do. People who have actually experienced what you're hoping to experience, and then just go and listen and absorb and take note of the wonderful, wonderful things that they are able to teach you. So that's the M-E-N-T. We're now to the letter O, and that's offer mutual respect. Unlike coaching, where we are oftentimes even paying someone to share their life experience or their certain expertise at doing something, mentoring is it's different than coaching, and this may be the greatest reason why. There's a mutual respect. I'm in a mentoring relationship with a couple of younger men, and oftentimes they tell me how much they get out of it, but I feel like every time that I'm with them and I leave that situation, that I'm the one who learned more. I'm the one who had the blinds lifted, that I could see some things that I wasn't particularly understanding or knowing because of their vantage point, their life, their different generation, and sometimes different cultures have just taught me immensely. And so I really believe that for you to have an effective mentoring relationship, whether you're the mentor or the mentee, it's an opportunity for mutual respect. There's two-way learning, there's two-way encouraging. I think there's even two-way, both-way nurturing. And we are developing a relationship because we are, as human beings, created for community. So there's often a time that I can say, though you said I could help you, I respect you and you have helped me immensely and I have learned so much from you. Well, that brings us to the last letter of the word mentor, and that is respond to the learner's needs. I think oftentimes mentoring relationships can fail because someone has a book, a workbook, a study guide, and you already know that I believe in being prepared and having all of those kinds of things. I believe in that rather than just shooting from the hip. But if you're the mentor and you are going to be a mentor to someone, they've asked you to do that. Yes, come up with a plan, come up with a program, even come up with particular study guides and material to read and to discuss, but also be ready and nimble enough that you can respond to what the learners need actually is, especially if this is a new relationship with you and you really don't know a whole lot about the background of the person. Don't come in with a lot of preconceived ideas and think, here's my one size fits all and I'm going to jam all of this into your heart. It is about the relationship, but be nimble enough that you can respond to what exactly is the learner's needs. I think mentors, at least the ones in my life, have modeled positive relational skills, and they help me to strengthen my communication skill. I saw how they interacted with others. I saw how they interacted with people in their organization. I think as a young person, one of the things that my mentors helped me with was they really helped to expand my mind and my heart above the narrow focus that I may have had because of my background or personality. And they also encouraged me to take big, bold steps and to move out from the status quo. They really were like a sanctified cheerleader. They helped me with some things where in my life I really needed to improve. They were so much an encourager that they helped me to believe that God and doing the right thing could create a brighter future, and the future that would be much more desirable than anything in the past. Uh, there's an old Irish proverb that says, you've got to do your own growing no matter how tall your grandfather was, which means this: you can't borrow sweat, you can't live off of someone else's reputation. You and I have to roll up our sleeves, get to work, and do certain things. And I would highly advise you, leader, that one of the best things you could do is to come alongside and be a mentor for someone. I realize at times it's a little awkward to just offer yourself as a mentor for someone who hasn't invited you to do that, but just be on the lookout, be prayerfully managing where is it that I can be a help. Tony Dungy has a great book on the mentor leader, and he says mentor leaders understand that if we lose sight of people, we lose sight of the very purpose of leadership. Yes, you may be the leader of a plant, a building, a team, but when you melt all of that down, it's all about people. You know, to be a mentor, you're just going to have to be secure in who you are and willing and open to share not just your victories, but your defeats. Not just when you are on the mountaintop and the things that you may really be known for, but even the times when you didn't know if you were going to make it, and to be able to move ahead. I think those are some very invaluable lessons that you really, really need to share with the mentee, because everything is not a straight line up. I am thankful for the mentors that I had. I did not always realize how valuable and how significant they were in my own personal development until they were already gone out of my life or even passed from this world. And I think of how much I gleaned and learned and how much I carry some of their thoughts and ideas around with me to this day, that it's made me very, very aware that I need to pass that on. I need to pour that same development, the relationship, the nurturing, the encouragement, that if you could learn from my past defeats, it would be an honor to me if I could save you from having to go through that, knowing though you're going to have to go through your own hard places, and it is in the hard places where you really learn invaluable lessons. So if you're someone in need of a mentor, look around you. Who are some people you have confidence in? Call them up, have coffee with them, ask them if they'd be willing to mentor you. And if you're a mentor looking for a mentee, just look around at the young women and men in your sphere of influence who you could pour your life in and make a difference. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this was like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart, and wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? It'll enable other excellent people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying have a great and blessed day.